October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and this month we are specifically talking about marginalized communities. This week we are going to be talking about the LGBTQIA plus community.
Hi, my name is Eric Bishop, and I'm a cisgendered gay man. I'm a librarian, an adjunct business instructor, and I'm working on my doctorate in education and leadership. I've also worked in case management, retail management, and I have my undergrad in journalism. My hobbies include gardening, showing dogs at confirmation, reading when I get the opportunity. Basically, I'm reading articles right now, so it's not always fun. Learning new skills, information, enjoying art. I recently finished watching Andor on Disney Plus. A few of my favorite foods include pizza, ice cream, burritos and fajitas, and cookies, but nothing beats tomato soup and grilled cheese. A few things I'm passionate about include traveling, spending time with friends and family, spending time with my two dogs, Lincoln and Bella, and all the other dogs that I get to spend time with at confirmation. I want to start first by saying my experience is uniquely my own and only represents a segment of the LGBTQIA population. And it doesn't represent the community as a whole. So my lived experience is going to be completely different than another individual's experience within my own community. Some of the challenges I have personally faced as someone from the LGBTQIA community uh, is traumatic harms, really, with my gay identity, including struggling with faith and church groups and belonging with church groups and things of that nature. I've been outed at a job by my boss to my colleagues. I've been called derogatory names. I've been spit on and have had rocks thrown at me when I was younger. I've also suffered damage to my home and personal belongings before, as well as receiving letters from community members when I was a library director, and I had been selecting LGBTQIA books for the library collection to help the LGBTQIA community. Being a victim of domestic violence while also identifying as LGBTQIA plus may make receiving help more challenging because of the lived experiences of the LGBTQIA IA plus person. They may have already suffered traumatic harms, like the ones I mentioned from my experience earlier, or their experiences could have been far worse too. They may feel that people working at agencies, organizations that are supposed to help them won't because of their identity, and because staff people may have their own biases or prejudices about the LGBTQIA plus community. This could be especially hurtful and prevent victims from seeking out help, or they may feel they can't access those services if the space is not welcoming to them.
Another barrier for victims of domestic violence, specifically in the LGBTQIA plus community, are the way we are looking at relationships and how we look at them as just strictly male and female. And this would be limiting because it's not only hard for male victims to come forward if their abuser is a female, because already the stereotype is men can't be abused. That's weak. Women can't be abusive. And we know that that isn't true. But then couple it with being in the LGBTQIA plus community that is a little bit more marginalized, those stereotypes really do harm people in that community and prevent people from coming forward, not just if they want to report a crime, but even for seeking help from an organization.
A few things. I want people to kind of understand or know about the LGBTQIA community. We're all human, and we deserve basic human decency in schools, in the community, in public, in hospitals, and everywhere else we go. Everybody deserves that, flat out, period, point blank. Research has shown that LGBTQI people have some of the highest reported rates of victimization, including intimate partner, dating violence, and school victimization, as well as sexual violence. So, in fact, Lesbian and gay and bisexual youth are at higher risk of all types of dating violence and victimization. And transgendered individuals and females are at the highest risk of most types of victimization. We all have a responsibility to make sure our schools, our communities, and our organizations are safe for everyone, especially those facing discrimination, harassment, and victimization.
It is imperative that we understand that domestic violence does not discriminate against your sexual orientation, your gender identity, what community you identify yourself in, your age, your race, your ethnicity, or how much money you make. It is never the victim's fault, and believing otherwise is like saying a victim deserves to be abused because, and we fill in the blank. And that's not the case. Nobody deserves to be abused. Nobody deserves to be a victim of domestic violence. And every victim of domestic violence deserves helpful resources and a way to be able to get out.